first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again are finally here, and Marvel is not holding back.
Straight into the action with that opening in episode 1 and episode 2 hitting hard in those final moments.
There's loads to talk about.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Heroes and Hype. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm Anthony.
And today we are talking the extremely dramatic, bit over-dramatic, first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. We're going to be telling you what we like, what we didn't like, and we'll be talking all our theories for the rest of the season. We'll be listening to your thoughts and theories at the end of the show as well in Podfans Assemble. But should we just start with the horrendous but fantastic
opening?
I, for some reason, kind of knew what was coming.
Okay,
I don't know why.
I had no idea.
I don't think I'd seen a spoiler. I think it was just people were talking about this was potentially
now that I think about it, as they're walking out the pub, it's literally like the we're friends.
I know.
And that kind of, now that I look back at it, I go, it was obvious.
Did you have no idea?
I had no idea.
How
was
feel?
Shocked.
Spoilers. We haven't done a spoiler one. Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Foggy gets killed.
Yeah.
Or does he?
Well,
I've got things about that.
I've got things about that too.
Okay, brilliant. Okay.
So, I was shocked by it because
I kind of knew it was coming. I was shocked by it.
I didn't see it coming at all. Before we even get to that, though,
yeah,
the whole scene being done in one shot.
Yeah,
the
fight and everything.
Yeah, everything. Like that whole bit.
Was the whole thing done in one shot?
Whole thing done in one shot.
That. I noticed it from the fight because I thought it was really reminiscent of like the hallway fight.
It was from the moment that he first heard
Foggy on the phone.
Yeah,
that was mega.
Yeah,
the whole thing was shot with like the black.
So they've changed how he picks up sounds now, and I actually think it was a really good and interesting way to do it.
I noticed straight away it going from like widescreen to IMAX.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice on the first viewing, as he started listening to Foggy, it went back to widescreen, but then went to like ultra wide and right in on it.
Yeah.
And it's just tiny little subtle things like that.
I love that. It was so impressive. But the moment that he got shot.
What, Foggy?
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
I think I knew it was coming about half a second before it happened.
Yeah.
And then when it did, it still just made me go, shut up. Like I was sat kind of leaned back on the sofa and I literally sat straight up and went, shut.
Yeah.
And it was just like, because obviously her face then was covered in speckles of blood and stuff. And I really thought she was going to get killed as well.
I had a feeling she might do, yeah.
Because just for the fact that everyone else was just being completely taken out. But obviously, Daredevil then just got back literally in the nick of time.
To stop again.
And
then that
whole fight from the moment he swung in, was all one shot.
Yeah.
And that was just so brilliantly filmed.
It was brutal, wasn't
it? Done. Yeah.
It was the fact that Bullseye was just taking out everybody as he went by. Literally mid-fight, he's just throwing like random knives at random bystanders.
But even the number of knives that were in Daredevil by the end. Like, because I was going, are some of those hitting him?
Yeah.
And then it took me a sec, because obviously you've got all the smoke and stuff there as well, because he'd thrown the canisters in. And I was kind of like, has he actually hit him, or am I just picking up on
the bounce
noises or something? I couldn't work it out. And then once I saw that he was starting to look like a hedgehog.
Yeah.
But
he's a machine,
like, oh my God,
he's a machine. And I think it leans in quite a lot of this, quite a lot through the first 2 episodes that we'll sort of cover in a bit. But it's like when he's Daredevil, he's a separate thing.
Yeah.
And it's like Daredevil and the need to fight kind of just like takes over.
Yeah.
I think that's why he's getting through walking around and having this massive fight with all these knives in him.
But I was also picking up on the fact that he was, every time we were honing in on her crying out for Foggy.
Yeah.
I keep saying her. What's her name again?
Karen.
Yeah. Every time Karen was like calling out for Foggy, telling him to keep breathing and all of that kind of stuff, and we were losing the sounds from the fight. Daredevil's responses were slowing down, so he wasn't fighting as well. Yeah. And even down to that detail was incredible.
The whole thing was so.
I just was so impressed with how that opened.
Yeah,
it was unreal.
And Bullseye, Wilson Bethler's Bullseye.
Yeah.
That fight, like Matt's like got his head like right up against his, and he's just laughing because he's like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's done what he wanted to do. He has to hurt Daredevil basically.
Yeah,
it's just so well acted.
I know.
And then throws him off.
I
didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming at all. But I think it was just to show again, you've crossed the line.
Yeah.
Hill Foggy. Crossed the line completely. Karen as well, when she was on the floor and she hears the thud behind her.
Yeah.
And you can see it absolutely terrified to turn around because it's like, who's just landed behind me? Have I lost Foggy? And now it wasn't Matt.
Yeah.
And then it's like the kind of look of relief when she turns around and realizes it's not Matt. Fine.
Yeah.
Crack on. But Bullseye didn't die.
No.
So Bullseye
surprised me.
It did me as well. But I didn't watch the whole Netflix series, but I know what happened pretty much all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think in series 3, Bullseye gets like a building dropped on him or something like that, and he ends up having his spine replaced with metal. So in the comics, it was adamantium in the comics.
Yeah.
But we didn't have adamantium in the MCU at that point.
Yeah.
So it was cogmium, I think it was called.
Right.
But I'm assuming that's how he survived that
before,
because he's basically like half Wolverine, pretty much. The whole thing was great. If I'm gonna be picky, there were a few CGI moments in there that just didn't feel.
The running across the roof.
The running across the rooftops.
I did pick up on that.
The very first time he landed before he ran across the rooftops, I think he swung in.
Yeah.
Landed on like a fire escape.
Yeah.
It just looked a little bit shaky.
See, my thing at the moment is I've just got a new TV, guys.
Yeah. Massive.
It is massive. And I actually thought that I was just seeing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It differently because I've now got like a 4K screen, whereas I didn't have that before.
No, yeah.
So I was wondering whether it's just the fact that it's a lot clearer.
Yeah, and you get motion smoothing on the new tellies, don't you?
Yeah.
Sometimes it makes things look a bit janky.
Dodgy. Yeah.
But no, it wasn't. It just looked.
It just looked like that.
A little bit janky, yeah.
Fair. I'm forgiving a lot of things at the moment because I'm seeing it.
You know what though? I think it's completely forgivable. Yeah. Perfect CGI, but it wasn't like the old Marvel CGI. Again, for some reason, Marvel CGI seemed to be better in 2008 than it is now. But it's completely.
The thing is,
it didn't take you out of.
I just want to point out, we're saying Marvel CGI in general. I think something shifted because,
doesn't it?
Even look at. I know I'm going on a tangent again as usual. Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like it was a totally different kettle of fish at that point.
Look at Harrison Ford. Look at Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. That was perfect.
Yeah,
but
I mean that he was perfect, but it wasn't as realistic as I've seen some other stuff.
I don't know. I think it was really good, but I think that was the only time in recent years that I've seen CG in a Marvel movie or a lot of movies, as you said, look particularly good. Yeah, but I think when you take into account some other awful CGI that we've seen, this wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't at all.
I think as long as it doesn't take you out of it,
I
don't really see it as a problem.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fine. So that was an absolutely horrendous, brilliant though. Opening 15 minutes. It went like that. Didn't feel like 15 minutes.
Not at all.
3 minutes. Because you were just like so engrossed in it.
Yeah.
We then got we're not going to break down every moment of the episodes, but we got the new intro music.
We did.
The new opening. What do you think? What do you think?
I love it.
I like it as well.
I think it's
really the same cool. Netflix music, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And they've
slowed it down.
They've slowed it down. It's more like orchestral.
Yeah.
And obviously they've changed, rather than having all the blood dripping down over the statue or what was like an invisible statue of Daredevil in the original. It's now bits of the city breaking down into making a Daredevil statue.
Yeah.
Good though. I liked it. Dead moody.
Yeah.
So there are a few other big scenes as well, obviously, across the 2 episodes. We're going to just sort of like rattle through them all in one. But before we get into the scenes, let's talk about characters. So obviously we've got Charlie Cox back as Murdock. He's mega.
He is brilliant.
He's so good. He can do... I don't think I've really seen Charlie Cox in anything other than Daredevil.
Yeah, same.
Didn't he do Stardust?
He did... I don't know.
I think he did film with like Robert De Niro and stuff like that. I've never seen it. I've
seen Stardust loads of times, but I didn't realise that Charlie Cox was in.
Yeah, I think he was in it. Yeah, I think he's a main character.
Shut
up. Oh my God.
Just made that link now. Okay.
He's
good. Yeah, he's good.
Charlie Cox, yeah. He can play as Daredevil in any, not genre, because they're all different genres, but he was mega in the original Netflix Daredevil, which is obviously on the same like scale of like grittiness as this one.
Yeah.
But then he slotted perfectly into Spider-Man No Way Home, which was more like a PG version. And then he
was hilarious in She-Hulk.
The best part of She-Hulk,
which
was not very good and a bit too stupid, but he slotted in. And then to go from that,
he molds so well to what the tone requires.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's what I like about him.
To be able to pull off Matt Murdock Daredevil in She-Hulk, and then the next time we've seen him, he's just in dark, gritty, Daredevil Born Again. So good. We got Vincent D'Onofrio back, as well as Fisk. Scary AF.
He is scary as hell, isn't he?
So he always seems to play a bad...
It's such a subtle, menacing feel to him constantly.
Yeah.
There's just that tone of, he could just click a finger and you'd be gone. Wiped off the face of the earth.
And he could snap it. Moment.
I mean,
he looks
jumping a little bit, but when she mentioned his wife, the journalist, when she mentioned his wife, I did think
he could just murder you. I know what you mean. It's so good though. He's a scary dude. I mean, he's a big guy. He's lost a bit of weight, obviously, as mentioned as well. But he's such a big guy.
But I like the fact that they mentioned it as well.
I did as well,
because obviously, if that's just something personal, but they've brought it in to kind of keep it in,
and the way that they brought it in, it was very fitting with the story and what they were trying to do in that scene. But we'll get to that. That scene. So all the characters, kind of returning characters, if we want to call them returning characters. Foggy, dead
for all of 5 minutes.
But so this is the thing: is Foggy dead? Right, let me pull this up on here. So what have you said? You've got something about Foggy not being dead. It might be the same thing I've got.
Well, I've heard the talks about season 2. And that we've still got him on board.
We do, So I think the showrunner.
So I'm wondering whether
he's back.
But
that could be flashbacks.
Well, I'm wondering whether it's flashbacks, because the hard part with this one is he heard the heart beating stop. So it's one thing to think someone's died and then they're like, they just made it, they just survived, but we've had them in hiding or whatever for a year.
You know what I mean? he could have died there, and he could have died there, and he could have recovered. But Matt's just been so distraught at the thought of losing Foggy. It's his best friend, brother, isn't it? That he's sort of like been overwhelmed by it all. So the thing online at the moment is somebody like Dead Eagle Eyed, when they're coming out of Nelson, Murdock and Page. There's a number 468 next to the NMP sign, as they call it in the episode. And Daredevil number 468 was titled The Secret Life of Foggy Nelson, where Foggy fakes his death. And he goes undercover. Not undercover, but he's in like witness protection with the FBI. And it's like, that can't be. This is clever Marvel. This is what we like. He's probably dead. He's probably going to be back in season 2 in flashback. But this is like WandaVision. Like little things. There's no way they accidentally put 468 in the scene where Foggy died.
That's really cool.
It's not a thing. I'm not convinced he's not dead. But just the fact that they've given us that little thing back into the guessing game, I love that. We got Bullseye back again for a very short period of time. So he's doing life now, basically, for murdering 11 people, I think it said. And then we got...
Honestly, when they said 11, I was like, was that all?
Is that all you did?
It felt like he killed about 33 people.
I think some of them he was just knocking out. Like the moment I really saw in there, when Matt was chasing him through the pool room. He got one of the pool balls and he threw it. And it didn't go anywhere near this woman, and I was like, he's missed there. And it bounced off a wall and then a chair and then hit her in the head and knocked her out. Just like, so clever. So clever. Again, it was the tiniest little bit in the background. 9 out of 10 people won't have even noticed it. But just the fact that they've gone to the lengths of doing that, I just loved it.
That's what we loved about Marvel before.
That is what you loved about Marvel.
That's what we've been hoping we were going to get again.
It was just attention to detail. Little things like that. So we got Deborah Ann Woll back as Karen Page. She's like part of the casters for the cast list for the whole series. Obviously she wasn't in episode 2.
No.
They've seemingly written her.
She was, but only briefly, wasn't she?
I think she was in episode 2. No, she was only in episode 1. So she was at the start of
in
episode
the
1.
courtroom. Sorry,
sentencing, yeah.
I thought that was in episode 2. This is the hard part when you get more than one episode.
No, I know it's hard. So they've written her out the show.
Yeah.
She's moved to San Francisco. She's not
Yeah.
talking to Matt, or Matt wasn't talking to her. So she's gone. She's out of it.
Yeah.
It feels a bit weird that they've brought back. Obviously, you've got to bring back Fisk, but they've brought back these 3 big characters from the original Netflix series.
Yeah.
Just to write them out.
Yeah.
And all
it doesn't make sense
in the first episode.
So I feel like there's going to be something more to it.
I would assume, because there was reshoot to this, weren't there?
Oh yeah.
I think they filmed like the first 6 episodes and then went back to from scratch.
Yeah.
I think that because we knew we were getting these characters, maybe they had more of an input in the original script.
Maybe
because they've told everybody, you're getting Karen back, you're getting Foggy back.
Yeah.
They thought, well, how can we get them back? Do the little cameo type thing and get them out so that we can move on with a fresh story. So it's kind of giving us closure. It's not a nice closure,
no,
but it's kind of trying to give us closure on on those characters. Because pretty much, apart from Fisk and Matt and maybe Vanessa, it's pretty much all new people. It is all new. That's not a bad thing.
No.
I mean, the new characters are great. But so let's talk about Vanessa. So she's one of the first returning characters that we see after the intro.
Yeah.
She's Kingpin now, isn't she? She's the Kingpin. She's running it.
Yeah.
She's running the criminal enterprise. I thought it was dead clever how they introduced her as well, because we got a shot of Matt. It was like it did the 1 year time jump.
Yeah.
Shot of Matt like eating his breakfast and going and getting his suit, and he like feels through very slowly his closet.
Yeah.
And like the right suit and puts that on, and then it cut to a nice like jolly music.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Fisk.
Yeah.
And it's like a duh, 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 like a proper like deep scary music.
Yeah.
He's having his breakfast, but it's upside down to show it's like the opposite side.
Yeah.
And then he's like really rough through his closet straight away, trying to find his jacket, and he goes for the white jacket, the Kingpin jacket.
Yeah.
And then puts it to one side and goes for the black one. And then the very first thing we next see is Vanessa in a white dress that looks like the Kingpin jacket.
Yeah.
And it's like he's not the Kingpin now. She's the Kingpin now. And I can't wait to see. Obviously, we know where it's going from a storyline perspective to a degree.
Yeah.
She's cheating on him.
Yeah.
And they're now having marriage counselling. But I want to see where that relationship goes.
Yeah.
Perspective is like, is he going to let her just take over that side of things, or is he going to start getting back into it again?
Yeah.
Other new characters we got BB Yorick, who is the news reporter.
Yes.
Girl. So she's the niece of Ben Yorick, who was in the first series. Got murdered by Fisk.
Yeah.
And it was series 1, I think he got killed by Fisk, wasn't it? We get Daniel Blake, who's played by Michael Gandolfini, who's James Gandolfini's son from Sopranos.
Okay.
Did you know he was dead?
I don't know who he is.
The main character from The Sopranos. You ever seen The Sopranos?
Tony
Soprano.
I've never watched it, but I've seen pictures, so I know.
I didn't know he died. I was literally Googling today when I was doing this, and he apparently died 2013.
Oh.
Yeah. But so it's his son Michael Gandolfini. We get a bit of him, don't we? We don't really learn loads. He's basically a huge Fisk fan who seems to have worked his way into the inner circle. Yeah. If you get what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out there's more to him, though.
Yeah.
Either like a secret son of Fisk, or that Fisk didn't even know he had, or the son of somebody who Fisk has completely screwed over, or murdered, and he just wants to get in there to get some sort of revenge.
Yeah.
Or it could be complete opposite. He could just be like, right, well, this guy's super powerful. I want to get in there now, and I want to be like the protege, the next protege. After Echo. Other big new character we get in episode 1 is Heather Glenn. So she's the new love interest. For Matt. So she's got
I like her, to be fair.
I liked her as well. Yeah. I feel like we got a lot of her in that first episode.
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 dates, I think, between them, didn't we? But again, the chemistry between them, it's absolutely spot on.
Perfect.
But I also like how the fact we're not just making her the love interest. And we don't find out till episode 2, and I was skipping a little bit, but she's clearly going to have a huge role to play here. I think a couple of huge roles, because one, obviously, she's the marriage counsellor for the Fisks. So that's obviously going to take a turn. She's not going to be able to tell Matt she's the marriage counsellor for the mayor. and she'll keep that quiet.
Yeah.
And then he's not going to be able to tell her that he's fighting Fisk as Daredevil. So the whole thing mashing together is going to be
It's
great.
going to be good.
There's another character, I think we've seen him in the trailers, but we've not seen him in the show yet, called Muse, who looks very similar to White Tiger. It's got like a white mask with like looks like black mascara going down his face.
Right.
And I think he's the dude who was like painting the Fisk picture at the end of one. But I think he's also the guy who goes to her at the book signing and says, "Do you do therapy sessions, or can I arrange for it?"
Oh, yeah.
I think it's him. So I think there's going to be some other sort of like villain arc tying in as well. Big part of the story, though, is obviously Fisk running for mayor and winning. So question is, right, he starts at the start of the episode and he basically says to Vanessa, I need to keep completely separate from the criminal side of things.
Yeah.
It needs to be like perfect. It needs to be completely above board.
Yeah.
Do you get the impression that he's actually trying to be good?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm so on the fence with it.
Okay.
Because part of me goes, well, trying to state that and keep that separate, there's obviously something there to say that he's trying to change.
I mean, it could just be a case that I don't want the paparazzi not the paparazzi, but the reporters. I don't want a repeat of Ben Urich and all that sort of stuff after me. So we need to be above board. But I do think the way I read this is he's trying to be good.
Yeah.
He wants to be good here, and we start to see Kingpin trickle through. Maybe not in episode 1, but certainly
definitely in episode 2. But the thing, I mean, because obviously we got that first meeting in episode 1, didn't we?
Yes, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that.
So
in the diner,
phenomenal bit of script there.
It's just those two acting their asses off.
Yeah.
And the whole, we start off as friends.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a lighter step. You look like you must have lost some weight. And he's like, it's not. What does he say? It's not entirely unpleasant to see you again.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then it takes a turn. Yeah.
Yeah, it completely takes that turn. And the fact, part of me thinks, is he using the legitimate power to be able to do the stuff that he wants without breaking any or as many laws? So, the fact that by the end of that conversation, he's saying, if you put that outfit back on, I'm coming for you because I will not have vigilantes in my city.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like the vigilantes are the ones that are actually doing something.
Yeah. And he's got no cops.
Exactly.
He's losing the cops.
Exactly. So that's what was absolutely baffling me, because I thought straight away he's talking about being mayor, and then he's instantly like, I still want to get rid of vigilantes, because and it's like he's got some sort of hatred for them. And that's where we also got the mention of Spider-Man as well.
We did. We get this mention of Spider-Man, and he mentions White Tiger there as well, doesn't he, I think, and obviously Daredevil. See, I read it as he's trying to be completely legit. It's like he doesn't want vigilantes. He doesn't want vigilantes. He wants not because he wants to do bad things. I think it's I don't want vigilantes because it's not right. It's not.
I don't think it's that it's not right. I think it's that between that and him getting shot by Echo and all of that kind of stuff, I think it's a personal vendetta. I don't think it's anything to do with him trying to.
Oh no, I see. I think the opposite. I think after the end of Echo and he's lost his. She wasn't his daughter, but she was like his daughter.
Yeah.
And he's somehow managed to be, he's survived it.
Yeah.
I do think he genuinely wants to be a good mayor.
Yeah.
And I think the whole series, even in the first 2 episodes, I think that especially with the end of episode 1, I think what we've got here is we've got a story of, we've got Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to be Daredevil. Wants to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
But Daredevil's there. Daredevil is this thing, almost like the Hulk. It's this persona inside Matt that he tries to fight to keep down.
And do you think Fisk is doing the same?
And I think Fisk's the same. I think it's mirror images of each other.
Yeah.
I think Fisk, not always, but I think Fisk now wants to be the mayor.
Yeah.
And as he's progressing through being the mayor,
the
Kingpin is trying to break out.
Yeah.
And I think it's more evident with Matt at the start, because at the end of episode 1, because when he finds out he's the Fisk's won, all of a sudden he starts hearing all these noises and all these voices, and it's as if like Daredevil inside is like waking up.
Yeah,
He's been resting for a year. We've been keeping him pushed right down for a year, and now all of a sudden he's waking up and he's hearing all these voices, and he's like hearing the people screaming in the background.
Yeah,
and it's like he's trying to like really, really hold.
Reel it in. Yeah,
and I think that becomes even more apparent through the rest of episode 2.
Yeah.
Particularly at the end. But so episode 2 then it furthers the story, furthers a few arcs.
I really like the courtroom procedural
I like
aspect
that
to it.
Yeah,
because this is the thing where this is the part of Marvel that I was excited about.
Yeah,
when they were bringing out different stories for different characters and stuff, you could bring elements of different types of TV into
I know what you mean, yeah.
and movie.
Yeah,
like we talk about genres and all of that kind of stuff. It's that thing. None of the others really. I mean, She-Hulk tried it, and it
I feel like She-Hulk is what we were told. This is what obviously we weren't told She-Hulk was going to be gritty, but from the court procedural, we were sold that.
Yeah,
and that's not what we got.
No, not at all. And I think we're getting it more in this.
I do.
I really liked the separate storyline of that guy getting attacked in the train station and in the subway. Sorry, and then this guy. We saw him trip over and fall into the oncoming train.
Yeah.
And that whole thing about him being innocent.
Yeah.
And I just loved that entire story. It's completely separate from everything else. I'm just really enjoying that story, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
I think that's going to be a huge overarching story going forward. So
I think it's also about the underhand of the cops as well in the city.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of showing that vigilantism needs to exist because of the fact that even the good people are not actually good. So I'm liking the fact that we're already seeing that before we kind of hit the big story further down the line. Yeah. So
the only thing I'd say, so obviously it's White Tiger is the guy who's got done. Hector Ayala in the show. Yeah. By Camar de los Reyes, who there was a in memoriam thing for him at the start of the episode because he passed away after filming. I think he had cancer, so he passed away, which is crap because obviously he played in the one episode we've seen. It's good, to be fair. It obviously, like you said, it sets up the dirty cops. I think somebody said at the start, I think it was Karen says at the start of the episode, it's like half the cops. Oh, so many cops are leaving anyway, like tons of cops. And then when Fisk's running for mayor, they say half the cops hate him. Yeah. Half the cops love him. And it seems like the only cops who love him are probably going to be the ones who are the dirty cops. Yeah. So it's like you do 100% need those vigilantes. Yeah. One thing that it didn't take me out of it threw me a little bit at first when they first mentioned it. But White Tiger's obviously got this costume and he's got this amulet as well. Yeah. And the amulet gives him superhuman powers. Right. And I like the fact that they just dropped that in. Yeah. This is like really dark, really serious, really gritty. Yeah. I think it's it's easy to forget that it's part of the MCU with aliens.
You forget about fantastical things. Yeah.
And just dropping that in and just make it. I think they mentioned it twice. Yeah. I think he said, "Well, I didn't have my amulet" when he was talking to me at the prison, and I was a bit like, "Oh, hang on, I don't like this." It took me out of it to a degree. Yeah. And then when he was trying to sell it to the judge, he was like, he didn't even have his amulet, and the prosecuting attorney's like that, and it was just like it just feels normal. Yeah. And I think trying to like insert all this like fantasy type stuff, like you said, and not making it feel jarring. Yeah. I think it's a challenge, but I reckon if they just keep talking about it as if it's just completely normal, then it's the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The ending of episode 2, this was great. This whole
so
I think it tells such a story. Yeah. So we had Matt finding the witness. Yeah. Finally finding the witness who can obviously defend Hector. Dirty cops roll up. Matt tells him to run. Yeah. Obviously, he's now got that trust in the witness. Yeah. When those cops burst in and Matt's just stood there, this huge grin on his face. Yeah. Just like, yes. Yeah. And then when the cop tries to get past him and Matt just like doesn't move, he's just like a rock. Yeah. And it's like, they just,
I was living for that.
100% stand up to him. And then obviously they prove that the dirty cops and they start slaying it. I did as well.
I thought, you don't, I mean, they don't know it's Daredevil.
No.
Right now, they're attacking the lawyer that's going into court to fight this
wrong,
but to fight this actual thing. Yeah. They're beating him up and he's a blind man.
I know.
Like, and then them holding the gun to his head and everything. I was like, are you serious? And the way he was saying, don't do this, do not do this.
Yeah.
And then he just snapped.
He snapped.
And that was it.
So the Punisher tattoo on the cop. Do you think he's not going to be affiliated with Frank Castle, is he?
I have got a feeling that it's kind of like there are fans of the Punisher.
Yeah.
Who are trying to take things into their own hands and have blurred that line of what's good and what's not.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think they're just a fan of the chaos of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're affiliated with him as such. I think they're just fans of brutality, essentially.
Yeah, they've just seen him doing something and been like, oh, well, we're going to do that. Because he was...
If I don't like it, I'm just going to kick...
It's a form of vigilante, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we're a step above cops because we've got this Punisher tattoo.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking.
That's how Frank's going to end up back in this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, Matt couldn't have seen that tattoo on his wrist, but something's going to happen.
And do you know what? That's what I got taken out of it in that moment because I was like, why are they making a point of showing us the tattoo when
Matt can't see it? When Matt can't see it. No, I know what you mean.
So I was a bit like, I know what you mean. That's a pointless thing because he's not going to follow that clue because he hasn't seen it.
No,
but
he'll get it.
Yeah.
Well, someone's going to find him.
Yeah.
I don't. Did he kill him?
Well, the second guy I think died. The first guy,
the guy
wasn't. So the guy who had his arm snapped.
Yeah, you think?
I didn't think he died.
Okay,
but the second one.
Why? What happened? I was engrossed. What?
Why
did you think?
I don't know whether it was head or neck, but I feel like something
snapped.
Something broke,
as well as Matt.
And I feel like it was far too heavy a thing for it to just be a knocked out situation.
It's going to be interesting to see then.
But I think that's why he did the scream afterwards.
So I read that a different way, and I think you can read it in a couple of ways. But the way I read it, I see it is, and I think Marvel have tried to set this up quite well.
Yeah,
is I think to a degree when Matt is obviously getting knocked about and all that stuff, he's trying to contain himself.
Yeah.
And I've seen a few people saying online when Matt sat on the floor and the gun's to his head, and he's going, "Please don't do this. Don't do this. You don't want to do this. Please don't do this."
Yeah,
it's not necessarily them he's talking to.
Well, and this is the thing I was thinking.
He's saying it to Daredevil.
Yeah.
You see, like a moment when he cuts that, when that gun goes to his head, the face just goes from pretending or whatever.
Yeah.
Please don't do this to just
the focus is there. Yeah.
And he just tears them apart.
Yeah.
And then when he stands up after the second guy's knocked down, he turns around and it's as if that's Matt.
It's almost become a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
It's like Hulk.
Yeah.
It's like Hulk. He can't contain it. And he composes himself and he puts his glasses on to the point where he's full Matt.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I've let this happen.
Yeah.
And then the music that kicks in, I'm going to get free.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's out. Daredevil is out. It's not Matt anymore. He can't control him anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think if they follow that route of this is him trying to control that, Fisk trying to control it as the mirror image, it's going to be such a good.
It is going to be really
such a good series all the way.
I'm genuinely. I messaged you after I watched them, and I said, if these go on the same trajectory for the rest of this series, this is going to be the best TV show that 100%. We've had so far.
Yeah,
the best Marvel TV.
It's already stacked,
and actually, I think it could be in top 5 overall TV shows and movies since Endgame.
Yeah, it was great.
Easily,
yeah, definitely. What do you think of, before we rate it and stuff like that? We've kind of just done it, but before we rate it, any thoughts, any theories for where we're going to go forward in the series?
Other
than what we've already talked about,
I think that I'm convinced we're going to get a bit of a cameo.
Yeah, I can see some cameos.
I think we're going to get a bit of a ground level cameo because I think it's going to be the city versus the vigilantes.
Okay.
So, I reckon...
We know we're getting Punisher. Do you think we're going to get Jessica Jones?
I reckon we might get Jessica Jones.
I could see it.
I reckon we'll get Punisher. I reckon we may even get Tom Holland.
I'm sure there's been some sort of thing that they can't do Tom Holland.
Because of Sony?
They can't put Spider-Man. Yeah, they can put him... I think they can put him in... I was talking to Kenan about this the other day from Wrestling is Awesome. I think they're allowed to put him in short form animated content.
Right.
That's it. So they can put him in like Spider-Man Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
20-minute episode.
Yeah.
They couldn't do an animated movie with him,
Right.
because Sony have got the rights to it, which is on Spider-Verse, and they can't put him in any live action stuff. So they can stretch it to a guy in a spider costume, but they can't use.
Well, I thought they could because of like Civil War and stuff.
Well, no, but that was a deal. So that was a written deal that they had permission
for
to
Avengers
those movies.
Right.
I think it's like every time they want to do it, there's some sort of monetary obligation to Sony to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, I mean, they might.
Yeah.
They might pay. They might pay to put him in there, but I don't think they can use any of the characters.
Yeah.
It'd be
just. I'm just thinking.
Wasn't it Invincible? I suppose it's short form animated content, though, isn't it? So people could have given the rights to do that rather than Sony.
But the only reason that I thought it was because we're talking ground level and it's very New York central.
Yeah.
And obviously with the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home,
he's there.
He's gone right back down to street level and sewing back his own suits and stuff. So I just thought we were just going to get kind of like that basic Spider-Man back, just because again it's ground level.
No, I know.
And it's a good segue for him to pop into something.
Yeah.
But
I think it all depends as well on where it goes from, where Spider-Man 4 goes.
Yeah.
A lot of rumors saying Spider-Man 4 was going to be like entirely like street level, which is great. But there's rumors now that it's going to be set on Battleworld. Like, it's going to be a direct follow-up to Doomsday. So it's going to be a sequel to Doomsday. It's going to be an Avengers movie, basically. But obviously, only centered around Spider-Man.
Yeah.
All rumors at this point, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know what they're going to do with White Tiger. Obviously, I think it's going to have changed plans because the actor who played him has passed away.
Yeah.
But I think that I wouldn't be surprised if the original plan was to try and set him up. Old Marvel would have just been setting him up for a spin-off.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go down that route, but maybe to just establish him a little bit more. Or even, I think in the comics, he passes the amulet down to his niece, because in some of the stuff I've seen, White Tiger's a girl. So I think maybe that's the setup. Young Avengers. I think she's like...
Yeah.
She's in... the Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon, where it's kind of like the young team. She's part of that, so they could go that way.
Do you reckon we could get Haley Steinfeld back again?
Yeah, could. I think anybody like that, street level, could happen. Even something Thunderbolts related. You got to think, the Thunderbolts comes out the same week as the finale of this.
Yeah.
Or right after the finale.
Yeah.
So, and it's all set. I mean, it's seemingly there's a big part of Thunderbolts set in New York.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it's somehow tied in, like Val or something like that.
Yeah.
Being part of it. One thing I've written down here. What do you think is going to happen with the Vanessa and Fisk relationship?
I don't know.
I think he's going to kill her.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think Adam, I'm sure, I don't know who Adam is. I know I know about Adam. He's well dead.
I think he might try, and I've got a feeling she'll become a villain we're not expecting.
From the comics?
In their own right, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because sometimes they do that thing where they'll cross one character over with a particular villain or something, so it might not follow perfectly with comic book, but they might. But I couldn't even tell you who.
No, we're getting.
But I think that could be a potential.
Yeah.
And she could just become a separate villain, because if she's this powerful,
well, she is.
If she's Kingpin right now,
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't waste that.
Yeah.
She could have her own villain story later. You know, if she's part of Fisk's story now, she could have her own big thing later. Do you know what I mean? So
how would you feel if it turned out that she was the big bad? Fisk won the fight against Kingpin and managed to keep him down and do the right thing, and she ended up being the big.
I don't know how I'd feel about
too
that.
much of a stretch.
Yeah, I think so.
I can just see her dying, but I don't know whether it's only because he wants to take over and be the Kingpin again, or he wants to get rid of her because she's too much of a threat to the city. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think he'll get to a point where he wants both.
I do. I don't think he'll want both. I think he'll need both.
Yeah.
He won't be able to cope.
Yeah.
With it, or at some point he might even lose the position of mayor. That police commissioner said, do you remember this guy? He was the shortest ever serving mayor in New York history. My goal is to get you even shorter. And I know Fisk's like throwing stuff at him and you know.
And that's where the king
came out and stuff, which was a little bit king.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if at some point he lost.
Yeah.
Either at the hands of the police commissioner, Daredevil, maybe whatever. And he just goes, right, well, if I can't have that, I'm having that.
Yeah.
And Vanessa's like, no, you're not. It's mine. And it's like, right, bye, Vanessa. You're dead. And then he just completely takes over again. And sets up, because we've got Daredevil season 2.
We had 3 years of him pining over her the whole time. Like,
no, but that'd be cool then if it
no, I know, but that
kills her.
But I don't think it can happen in this series.
I
think she needs to build her own villainous story before it could get to that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's going to be good though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's going to be good to see. So rating wise, I think we've said it. It's probably getting to be. We've seen 2 episodes. We've only seen.
I'm on like a 9.8 out of 10.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Really, really high. It's not unanimously loved though. I'm gonna try and do this.
I've heard, and I'm quite surprised.
I was as well. So there's a few people, and I don't know whether it's just because it's cool to not like Marvel, but just a few examples. So I'm not going to read out the names. So hate to say it, but Daredevil Born Again effing sucks. Daredevil Born Again effing sucks, and I haven't seen any reactions yet, but I fear it's the exact type of thing the average comic book movie fan is going to adore. Is it over, Daredevil bros? The beginning of Daredevil is emotionless and alienating to the character. I wish the coming episodes get better because I'm beginning to wish they never brought back the series to do what they did.
I'm so surprised.
I don't get it. Clearly watching a different show, I must be going crazy. New Daredevil is so bad, don't understand the praise it's getting. I feel like everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
Clearly, if we said the other week when we were that superhero thing, that it might have been on the episode we recorded last week. You're gonna have people who really loved the direction that Marvel was going in.
Yeah.
We didn't. I think a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah.
But you were gonna get people who really enjoyed that type of thing.
Yeah.
And when you then push it back to old Marvel, which 100% this is doing,
you
are not gonna wind people up, but you're gonna get people who don't like that. Want the sort of stuff that we were getting, comic booky stuff and stuff like that. And if you don't like Daredevil because of that, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, any of it's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. There's no skin.
Yeah.
I know, but I feel like if you've been a Marvel fan from phase 1, and you've maybe lost interest during phase 4 and 5.
Yeah.
You still don't like this now.
Yeah. There's no pleasing you.
I don't necessarily think there's no pleasing you. I think you're entitled to your own opinion, as we said, but leave it.
Yeah.
Walk away now.
Yeah.
We were there. We were this close. Me more than you, but we were this close to just being like, right, Marvel, I'm done with it. And it's brought me back in. This is great. Falcon, Captain America 4, really good as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like if you still don't like it after this, it's time to call it a day.
Yeah.
Go and watch something else.
Yeah.
And again, it's not saying you're wrong. It's just it's clear.
It's why you're putting yourself through it. If you're just going to sit there and moan about it all the time.
Really not for you.
Yeah.
So we've seen our review, we've seen our theories, we've seen a few people on Twitter as well. Should we do Podfans Assemble? Should we see what listeners think?
Yes. So, we first asked everybody what you think of Daredevil Born Again. We told you to vote below. So 4% hated it.
Okay. There's always 1 or 4.
23% said it was okay.
Okay.
But that means that 73% loved it.
Huge.
That's massive.
Yeah.
That's
probably not the biggest we've had.
It's not the biggest, but it's in recent times
definitely
the best.
Definitely.
We
got a really high one on the first episode of Agatha.
Yeah, I think we did.
We got like 94% of people something like that. But this, again, compared to most, this is great.
Yeah. Liam Dearden said, Daredevil Born Again is a gritty, poignant return to form for Marvel. Bold, brutal, and emotionally charged that captures the best of the Netflix series with bloody and ultraviolet storytelling. Attractively styled and layered, this character-driven show boasts next-level action and gorgeous visuals. Cox and D'Onofrio's performances are mesmerising, making this a must-see series that captures the heart of Hell's Kitchen. It's so good to be back in this world. The first 2 episodes of the stage for what will ultimately be the Man Without Fear's darkest chapter yet, taking no prisoners and grounding us in the street-level reactions of NYC. The devil of Hell's Kitchen is indeed reborn.
100%. I think that's hit the nail on the head. It's setting up. I think enough happened to keep you entertained, clearly, because we were. But I feel like this first 2 episodes was just getting the pieces together for it to now hit 100 mile an hour again. I mean, it started at 120 mile an hour. Do you know what I mean? It was like hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But it was a very, very quick slowdown then to build in the world.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of. it was like we said, it's getting rid of the old world.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Well, we'd had a jump to where we were now from season 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And then we've had another year jump from Foggy's death to now. So,
but it's done a great job.
Yeah.
Instead of just setting up the pieces and
totally
getting everything ready to go for the next 7 episodes.
Yeah. By the way, this has been a while since I've done these, and the fear is real on read these,
especially because I'm not editing. I think
that's what I'm most worried about. Movies for Real said, I really enjoyed the opening. Definitely caught me off guard and was like, oh, they really went there. But then they kind of take it back by having Bullseye somehow survive, haha, and some CGI issues. But other than that, I'm glad we're back. So the CGI is obviously what we said anyway.
Yeah.
But again, Bullseye. I've got to be honest. I haven't seen season 3.
I haven't seen season 3. No, I have
Daredevil. So I wasn't aware of that. But now that I get it, it makes more sense.
Yeah. Those good old animanium spines.
Yeah, exactly. Ken Wilson said, first 2 episodes of Born Again are really good. Really does feel that it's an extension of the Netflix series.
Max, I think that's the biggest thing. It just feels like the Netflix series hasn't gone away.
No.
It's just straight off the back of it.
Yeah.
7 years.
So how long?
Yeah. It doesn't feel it now. And again, it shows how good a job they've all done, especially Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
To be able to throw a completely different Matt Murdock at us twice.
Yeah.
3 times he was an Echo.
Yeah.
And then back to this.
Yeah.
Right. Really good.
Matt Spectro through the Multiverse podcast said, I only watched episode 1 so far. I think it's a solid setup episode. I was pretty peed off though at what they did in the
Well done.
I know.
Rescued the swear.
I did. Matt said, I have 2 thoughts. 1, why go through all the reshoots, rewrites, expenses to retool the story to bring Foggy and Karen back just to write them out in the first episode?
Yeah.
So hopefully there's more to it, or it's a baffling decision.
I don't think there's more to it. I think it's just giving us some sort of closure. If they just started 2 years,
then why is it rumored that they're going to be in season 2? Well, I know that you've mentioned flashbacks.
I think we're going to mix of flashbacks. I think for Foggy it'll be flashbacks, and I think Karen will just be cameo type thing. I don't think she'll be a huge part of the story. I think there'll be something with Frank for Punisher, because she had a good relationship with Frank in series 2, didn't she? So I think that will probably form part of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had her if we got another series of Punisher, because we're getting a special presentation of Punisher, aren't we?
Oh, are we?
Yeah, like we did with Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
So that's confirmed now. We're getting that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's been officially announced, but it's
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she played a huge part in that.
Oh, okay.
And maybe that's why she's going to be sort of in bits and pieces through Daredevil.
Yeah.
But I do think it was just closure. I think they've wanted to do this new story. They wanted to do a full reboot, or a soft reboot of Daredevil, just with Charlie and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
And if they'd just gone, it's been 7 years since Daredevil, Foggy's married and had kids and he's gone off and Karen's moved to San Francisco.
Yeah.
We'd have all been like, oh, well, but that's not Daredevil.
Yeah.
And they've really harshly written him out.
Yeah.
But it's had the desired effect.
Yeah.
We've all gone nuts over the opening.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And the second thought was, I really hope Matt suits up again sooner rather than later. Don't really want a Daredevil show with no Daredevil until the last 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah,
if that's what they're doing, call the show Murdock or Kingpin or something else, especially with the Born Again subtitle. He needs to suit up soon.
I think he'll suit up next episode.
I think the only reason that I'm thinking that he will,
maybe.
We saw the lineup of so many different coloured suits.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get other versions.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether there's going to be a Out for Blood Daredevil.
Yeah.
And he changes his suit to reflect that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we might get that as a difference, and that's going to tell us
like old Batman,
which version of Daredevil
stealth
we're getting.
Batman.
Yeah.
So we'll get a stealth Daredevil, we'll get underwater Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil in space.
just 5 levels of anger, and by the colour of his suit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
do you want the gold one back?
Yeah.
Do you?
I do
as well.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit dark. Just take that and take ownership of it from a dark, gritty perspective.
Yeah.
I like that.
It said, but it's still early. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I did enjoy them moving all the chess pieces in the places they wanted them, which was basically what the first 2 episodes were.
Definitely.
We also had Meanwhile back on the podcast. First impressions of Daredevil Born Again's opening 2 episodes. Up front, the early hype doesn't jive with what I watched. Hits, the performances blew me away. The new suit rocks, and I'm excited about these newcomers. How do they tie in? Matt and Heather were sizzling. You could cut the tension with a knife, 100%.
Definitely.
Bullseye was nailed, offing people without a care. The rooftop face-off with Matt, stellar. Mrs. Production's off somehow. Did they want Netflix tier vibes on a budget? I can't figure out what makes it feel so much weaker than the Netflix run. That opening loss came out of nowhere, no groundwork, no reason, just there. Who signed off on that? They didn't let us spend any time with that character again, so it was a dud. Left me annoyed. I get that. I do understand
that. I think that was the desired effect.
Yeah.
I think that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to completely shock you.
Yeah. And I do think that was the point.
Yeah.
I just thought we'd get at least like 1 or 2 episodes out of them rather than literally 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fight was tight, not comic book goofy, but they should have balanced their ultra real vibe with some comic punch. Characters piled in way too fast, smacked of CW chaos.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of new characters, but I think they've just got to do... I don't think it was too... It didn't feel forced.
No. I think, again, rebooting, I think it was just trying to get everyone's faces there, so at least you've met everyone.
Exactly.
Even for now.
They've only got 9 episodes to do
yeah.
for the first series.
Yeah.
So I think they've spent 2 episodes, like we said, introducing new characters.
I think that's it now. We know them, so we can just crack on.
But I think it's like we got a very quick look at White Tiger in the very beginning of episode 1.
Yeah,
and we didn't see him again till episode 2.
No,
I think that was okay, and they didn't even just drop him in as I'm a new superhero, White Tiger.
Yeah.
They drip fed that to be like, this is just some random dude who then happens to be a superhero. So you got his actual real life story first.
Yeah,
and I think the stuff that they've done with Daniel Blake, again, we've only seen him twice.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah,
and then BB, I love the little videos that they've done.
Yeah.
To show like how half the city love him and how half the city hate him. We're not getting political. It was just Trump.
Yeah.
Trump vibe. The entire thing was just vibes. Whether that's positive or negative, we're not getting into that. But it was a really good slow introduction, I thought, to those characters.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced we'll go into too much more detail with a lot of them.
Yeah. He then said Wilson Fisk is Marvel's newest Trump analog. That was good timing, wasn't it?
Read that.
And with Ford doing the same thing in BMW. What's BMW?
Brave New World.
Oh yeah. They should have tried something else. It felt corny. Why ditch Matt's apartment? It's iconic. Leave it alone. Why move him from Hell's Kitchen? That's not Daredevil's soul. I'm still on board cautiously, but this launch isn't promising. I think that he's going to move back to Hell's Kitchen.
I think he is.
I think the whole point of that. Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's that whole thing, and it's going to draw him back.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So, and I actually think he might end up back in the apartment that he was in.
Yeah, and back at Nelson, Murdock, and Page.
Yeah.
And it'll still be Nelson, Murdock, and Page.
Yeah.
Even though it's just Murdock.
Yeah. 100%. So, Sasha Alari put Daredevil. Damn, that is all.
That'll do.
Love it.
That'll do. Nice and succinct.
And Davey Rich says, great comeback for Marvel, solid writing, really love dynamic between Fisk and Matt. The fight scenes were great and really looking forward to see where they go with the rest of the season.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Generally, I mean, yeah, there's a couple of picky bits, but that's
nitpicking at this point. But it's not glaringly obvious problems that everyone's going, that's just stupid.
No.
We're now getting to the point where...
Dog, is it?
No, exactly. And we're now getting to the point where we're having to actually pick little tiny moments out and say we're not happy about this aspect.
Yeah.
Which is a massive, massive step forward for Marvel from what we had.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So, yes, we may not be there, but it's following on from what we said in Brave New World, is that we can see the path that they're going back to now.
Yeah.
And that trajectory. And if they continue back there, we're going to end up maybe not as good as, but at least kind of getting there on what we got from kind of the first phases of Marvel MCU.
And we talked about this as well. Phase 1 of the MCU had some proper duds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Thor wasn't particularly good.
No.
Thor: The Dark World was dire.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers is my favourite, but Cap 1 I don't think was a particularly great movie.
No.
Good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't fantastic.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 wasn't particularly good either. When you think about it this way, it's like there were some not particularly great movies in there, but the overarching story of where it was going, that's what sold you.
Yeah.
And that's what worked so well. And we've become used to that and accustomed to that now. So now it's like you can't get away with the duds.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's definitely definitely going the right way. I think that's pretty much us. So thanks for listening and for watching. If you're on YouTube as well now. If you've enjoyed the show, please don't forget to like and subscribe either on the podcast platform or on YouTube where you are now. If you want to support the show and access some bonus content, you can follow us on Patreon. We're at patreon.com/ I nearly said that superhero thing. We're not. Patreon.com/heroes and hype.
Yeah.
There's bonus episodes, there's early releases, there's quarterly watch parties on there as well. So go there. The link's in the description as well. And other than that, that's us. We'll be back next week for our review of Daredevil episode 3. Yeah. Perfect. See you later, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.